What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, go over here, hit that subscribe button, become a part of the All the Boost family. Alright guys, so the first thing I gotta do today, I gotta take back that stupid Fram oil filter I got. I guess they're junk. It was my first time getting one of those dang things, and I've seen some videos and stuff, and one of my buddies from California that's got a Supra, and he's been into cars for a while. He mentioned that video of I forgot his name, but he cuts open all the oil filters and stuff, and basically the Fram is just cardboard cheap crap inside. So, which luckily I've been using the Bosch, so the Bosch has been pretty good. It's got pretty good reviews, so luckily I've been using a good brand for all these years, because I usually get like the $10 one, and I've never had any problems. I get like the it's the black one or whatever. It's typically like 10 bucks or so. So I'm gonna go take this stupid Fram back, get my money back, and then I gotta go to O'Reilly's. There we go. I got the good stuff now. Now I gotta get home and do this stupid oil change. Luckily it's a freaking nice day out, but I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, it's time to get started. I got everything I need finally, so I'm just gonna go through and show you all the kind of basic stuff you need to do an oil change on one of these cars. It's my first time actually doing one of these engines, but I've done, you know, thousands of oil changes in my life, so it's not really any different. It's just all basic stuff. But I just figured I'd just go through and just kind of show you guys what I do, what I like to do step by step, and how you can do a good job for not very much money. But if you ever just want to try to, you know, do something yourself or learn on your own, it's not that bad. If you just want to save some money, you just gotta make sure you do it right, because you can make a lot go wrong in an oil change. It might seem simple, but oil is very important for your engine. So, but all right, guys, let's get to it. Okay, so first off, I got all my tools and stuff I need right here. I just keep this so that way I always have everything on me if I need it, so I can have it on the go. Get all your you know, typical ratchets, 1/4 inch whatever, up to big whatever. It's not really organized right now, but yeah, everything's in there, everything you really need. And then this here I'm going to use for my drain bucket, this right here, so that way it's more than enough, because this thing I think is only like 4 quarts or so. So I'm just going to use that bucket. I got a nice big jack there, and you want to make sure and have a jack stand. Make sure you use a jack stand so that way the vehicle doesn't fall on you, because cars are very heavy, so you always want to try to be safe. And then we got the oil here. I'm going to be using this Full Synthetic 520. Good stuff. Never had any problems from Castrol. Then you want a nice clean funnel to put it back in. And then here's the oil filter we're going to be using for that there. But I've always had really good luck with Bosch. I had that stupid Fram, and I guess don't buy those guys. They're just junk inside. There's a video of a guy online on Facebook or on YouTube that he goes through and just kind of cuts all the filters and stuff apart, and the inside of the Frams is just disgusting. It's just this basic cardboard, not reinforced, and you gotta have, there's a lot of oil pressure going through there, so you gotta have a filter that's sturdy and can handle the pressure, you know what I'm saying, because it's got to filter out all that oil before it gets to the rest of your engine. So it's very important. First thing we got to do is jack up the front of the vehicle. You always want to make sure your e-brake is on, if it's front wheel drive or whatever, because you want to make sure that you're not going to roll anywhere. So if e-brake works, put your e-brake on, or if you're on a hill going down this way, put your gear selector in reverse, so that way it'll hold you, so that way when you're jacking up the car it doesn't roll. But alright guys, I'm gonna pop the hood on this thing, get it jacked up, and get this oil changed. Okay, there we go. We got it all jacked up. We got our jack stand good to go. And the first thing you want to do, that I always do, I take off the oil cap. Because if you take off the oil cap, it'll help It'll help drain the oil faster. But you always want to make sure when you take off your cap, you put it right here. Right here. So that way you can never forget to put that on, because if you try to close your hood, it's not going to close. You always want to make sure you put that back on. Otherwise, when you start your engine, oil will go everywhere, and you don't want that. So now I gotta find the bolt. I'll get under here and show you guys. Okay, sweet. So right here that's the oil pan bolt right there. So you loosen that up into your pan. Make sure you get nice and clear of it, because that sucker will shoot. So we gotta pull that out. And then the filter on this is actually up in there. See right there, the blue? So that blue, we have to take that off. And I'm hoping that's not too much of a pain. I think I can get it from the back. It's kind of different from what I'm used to, but it probably won't be too bad. But first things first, I gotta take this off, get all the oil out of the pan. It's my first time I got to actually be under here. It's really clean actually. This car is a 05 or 06, and it's bone stock. No rust or anything under here. It's beautiful. Oh, there's dirt and stuff there. That's just dirt. But wow, yeah, this thing is beautiful under here. Yeah, this thing handles amazing. I haven't had any problems out of it. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and get that bolt off. And then it should be like a 14 or something. I'll double check and I'll let you guys know. Okay, get your drain pan under here by the plug. This is an Adidas 17. You want to remember, righty tighty, lefty loosey, and these shouldn't be under very much torque. So I'll see if I can get this one undone with one hand. Give me a sec. Okay, now I got it loose. Once you get it loose, you can put your ratchet to the side, get that under there, put pressure on it. Some of my freaking cement here. Yeah, just put pressure on it and keep pushing it in. So that way when you're loosening it, it doesn't get all over you. Just like that. Just let it drain in there. I mean, I think this had an oil change not too long ago, but I just wanted to be sure, because you never know when you buy a car if what people are telling you is the truth. So we'll just let that drain out for now. And we'll get this cleaned up and get it put back on. Just let that drain out. Not even a drop on the ground. That's how you want to do it, preferably. But we'll let that drain out. And we'll get this all cleaned off. You want to make sure that you don't have nothing on the threads or any kind of metal or anything on there. Some of these are magnetic. It's best to get a magnetic plug. But yeah, you just want to make sure all the threads and stuff are cleaned. So that way, when you put it back in, it doesn't mess up the threads on the pan or anything. But yeah, look at that, nice and clean. The oil wasn't too bad. But yeah, I just wanted to be sure that I did an oil change, because you never know. Because when people try to sell you a car, they just basically tell you what you want to hear. So I just wanted to be sure, that way I know, you know, at what miles I got mine done, and that it's full synthetic oil. And because that way, if I'm ripping on it, I want to, you know what I'm saying? I want to be sure that I'm ripping on good oil. So just let that drain out, guys, and then we'll get started on the oil filter. And that's going to be fun, maybe, on this. We'll see. I think I'm going to get me a carpet. I don't have me a dolly yet, but I usually just scoot around on the ground here, and I've done transmission swaps, all kinds of things. I'm just wearing, try to show you here. I'm just wearing a tank top right now because I didn't want to get my nice clean shirt all dirty. So yeah guys, we're gonna get started on the oil filter next. As far as the oil filter goes, this is an oil filter wrench that I like to use. You could get the ones that are like, that have a ring on them, kind of like that, but that's a hose clamp. I think I have a couple in the garage, in my shed, but I like these the most because they don't really ever slip, and your oil filter shouldn't be more than hand tight anyways, so you don't really want to tighten it too tight. But I'll kind of show you a technique I like to do with the oil filter and pre-lube. I pre-lube the oil filter and all that. But after it gets done draining, I'll show you. Just go ahead. We'll put, after you get the plug all cleaned up, we're going to go ahead and put the plug back in. After it's all drained out, you go ahead and you put the plug in. And you want to do this before your filter. Then you got to get your oil out of the way. And I usually just torque these with one hand, because I've been torquing them for a while. So, and I usually use like the same hand. You don't want them too tight. Just barely. That should be tight enough, because you don't want this too tight. Make sure you wipe off all of your oil that's on there. Get it nice and clean. So that way, when you start it up, you can tell if there's a leak. And you just want to try to take care of it. Make sure it's all cleaned up. So that way, if there's ever a leak or anything, you'll be able to tell. Because when you start it up, you want to double check everything anyway. So always make sure that's cleaned off. So that way, you never have to worry about any oil leaks or nothing. But alright guys, let's get started on the oil filter. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to show you here what I usually do. So put this in there. I already got it kind of loose. You can just kind of go up in here from the side. See if I can do this one-handed. Just like that. That is a challenge. I had to use both hands for that sucker. It was not put on there right. But you want to make you do. What you want to make sure you do. You see right here. Put your pan under here. Try to guess where it's going to come out at. Because there's going to be quite a oil in this thing. So just reach under. Now it's nice and loose. Let it out for a sec. See where the oil's going to come. And there you go. It's got like a little drain there on the subframe. So just take it out, just like that. And when you take it off, you want to tilt it upside down, so that the top is facing the part at the top where you're screwing off, not the part that screws in, but the top part. You want to face that down because there's oil in the filter, and you want to try to keep as much of that in there as you can. Okay. And you just want to kind of balance it out. Just like that. And then dump it in here. Had an STP filter on it. I'm not sure how those are. I've never used one. But after you get that on there, just bring it around here. Get that out of the way. And come over here and I'll show you how we lube up that filter. Let me clean off my hands. Okay, so take your filter, put it upside down. What we're gonna do, this O-ring here, we're just gonna, I got some oil here, just a nice clean Mobil 1. Just take, put just a little bit in the cap, just like that. Okay, put it off to the side. Take your finger, dip it in there, and just kind of take it, and you just want to put it all around here, and this will stop your filter from seizing up, because like I said, you just want just a nice coat on there. Okay, take your cap, put it back on here so you don't get it on your car, just like that. But put that off to the side, and now go ahead and put this filter on. But you always want to make sure when you take off your old filter, make sure it's still got the O-ring and all that, because this O-ring, if you leave that O-ring on there, sometimes that'll come off, and if it's stuck on the oil filter housing or whatever, then it'll basically double gasket it and it'll make a leak big time. So you always want to make sure that that's off of there. So we're gonna go ahead and put this sucker on. I'll show you how. This was not actually too bad, but you can actually just move your oil out of the way. But I'm just gonna go up through here, just screw this on, show you guys. It's not too bad. But yeah, I've always had good luck with these Bosch filters. And you just want to screw it on, and you want to make sure, you want to hand tighten it, but you want to make sure it is tight. But only use your hand. And that's all the tight you want out of it. And then what you want to do is take a rag, clean up your subframe where that oil and stuff leaked off. So that way you keep everything nice and clean. But that's not too bad. You just want to keep everything nice and clean. So that way next time you do an oil change, or if you're ever going to sell the car, it's just taking care of it, you know what I mean? You just want to take care of it. So now that your plug is all torqued and you got your oil filter all done, nice and snugged, just double check everything. That's nice and tight. Plug's tight. So now we can get the oil out of here and we can start putting oil in up top. And then I'll show you what we do next. And you typically, you want to check the quality of the oil that came out. But this wasn't even clean before I put it in here, so, and I knew it was already done when I got it. And the oil when it came out, it looked pretty good. But yeah, you just want to double check, and if you can, just clean out the bucket beforehand, so that way you can just kind of inspect the oil, make sure it didn't have any big metal chunks or anything in it. It's a good way to diagnose if anything's wrong with your engine. Maybe if you got any kind of clearance problems or anything like that. But now that we got everything on the bottom, now we got to put our funnel in here. That's nice and clean. Make sure it's nice and clean, because if you get the little bit of anything inside your engine, you can run it. And that, you know, it's not the biggest funnel tip, but it'll be okay. And I'll just have to make it work. And I typically, I don't even use, but I'm pretty sure this is 4 quarts, and this is 5. So I'm gonna have to put you guys off to the side for a sec, so I can focus and get this right here. See if I can find a good place to put you guys. Maybe here. So you can get a good light here. Okay, that'll work, I think. But anyways, just take your cap off of your new oil, because you don't want to over oil it. So I'm sure this is going to be, even if you think it's going to be 4, just put 3.5, and then because you have to start it up anyways to get oil into the filter. So just make sure you get the metal cap off. Make sure you don't get any of it in the oil. And then just like that, you just want to start putting it in there. All we're going to put in this, I'm going to put 3.5 quarts. And then I'm going to start it up just long enough to get oil into the filter. And then I'll shut it off. Let it sit for a minute. Check the oil level. Because that way you can be sure you don't over oil it. You don't want to do that. So put a little bit more in there. Get your funnel out of the way. Try not to get any oil on anything. I mean, it'll burn off, but it's just not something you want to have to deal with. Okay. We got about the right amount in there. So, go ahead, take your jack stand out, lower the car down, so that way you can get the oil nice and level in there. Pour your jack out. You want the car on the ground, so that way the oil will be nice and level in the pan. Put your cap on, and then you want to start it up just long enough, maybe 10 seconds, just to get oil into the filter, because your oil level will change once. You don't want to check it right now because the oil hasn't went into the filter yet, so the level will be off. Make sure it's a neutral. Okay. Just kind of watch it. Make sure the oil light's gone off for your oil pressure. Don't rev it up or anything. Just let it sit there. Okay, that should be good. Shut it off. Put it in whatever gear you had it. Reverse if you're like uphill a little bit or something. Okay, and come around here. Just let the car sit for a sec. And let the oil go back down to the pan. Okay. Now, grab a nice clean paper towel. Because when you check your oil, that's an easy way to put something dirty into your oil pan, into your oil system. So you want to take out your stick You don't want to check it yet because it'll be wrong. So, see if I can do this with one hand. Wipe off all the oil that's on the stick. Okay? Get all the oil and everything off the stick. So that way you can get a good reading. Put it down in there. And let's see what we have. So, we're just barely on the stick. We can double check that. So if we're just barely on the stick, so to sit in there for a sec. Yep, just barely on there. Okay, so those 2 dots right there, that's 1 whole quart. So we gotta put, I'm gonna put a whole nother quart in there. We should be halfway in between those dots. And you don't have to start it back up or nothing. From here on, since you got oil into the filter, you can just take the cap off and just add another quart. And then it'll be about where it needs to be. And make sure you put your cap right there every time. But I'm gonna put another quart in and check it again. Okay guys, so I just double checked online. And I guess all of these engines take 5 quarts, so you could just put all 5 of the quarts in there. So that's pretty simple. So I'll get my funnel here, and I'm just gonna put all 5 of the quarts in here and just call it a day. I'll show you guys how to double check it and make sure it's at the level. Okay, we got all 5 quarts in there. Make sure you put your cap on. Make sure it's nice and tight. And then we'll go ahead and we'll just double check. Just make sure that it's up the level here. I have to wipe that off first. Hang on. Okay, guys. So, right here, it was right where it should have been, but I'm just showing you guys that the 2 dots there. You want your oil level up at that 2nd dot. You don't want it any higher. You don't want it any lower than the 1st dot there. Because if you have it lower than the 1st dot, that's just going to be damage to your engine. So oil is very, very, very important. So anytime you check it, you want to make sure that the oil is between those 2 dots, and that's generally 1 quart. So if it's lower than that, those 2 dots, that's a whole quart that your engine's low. You know what I mean? So you always want to be sure. Anytime you check it, you just want to be sure. You know what I mean? Because it's very, very important for your engine, guys. Yep. And then the next step, after you guys get your after you get all the oil and stuff on there, all 5 quarts, however many it's supposed to take, you just want to go ahead and start it up and double check and make sure there's no leaks or anything. So we're going to go in here and we're going to start it up. Just make sure you don't get any dirt or anything on your oil, anything in your car, because that will not come out. So go ahead, start it up. Make sure the oil light isn't coming on. If there's any weird sounds or anything, like any bad sounds, make sure and turn it off. Some engines that have a lot of miles on them, they may make some clacking when they first start up, when you first change the oil, just because they're trying to get oil to all the places and stuff they need to, because you just drained everything out. So you got to get oil everywhere, all over the engine, so it's nice and lubed again. But everything should be nice and quiet, just like this. No noises coming from the engine. Got the VTEC, bro. Yeah, gotta have that VTEC, boys. Yeah, purrs like a kitten. And you want to double check, make sure there's no leaks. You can't really see anything from up here, but you always want to double check and just make sure there's no leaks. But that was my oil change video, guys. Had to get a nice oil change done to this thing. That way I knew for sure the miles and stuff on the oil. So that way when I rip on it, I could be 100% sure, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna hurt anything. It's nice, clean, good oil. And if you guys enjoyed it, make sure and leave a like. Leave a comment for sure. Tell me what you guys think. What kind of stuff you should do your oil changes on. You know, maybe what kind of cars you guys got, because not everybody has the same cars. So yeah, and if you have any questions or anything, just leave it down in the comments. If you're not subscribed, go over here, hit the subscribe button, the little red one to the right. It's 100% free, and that way anytime I upload a video, which I do almost daily right now, you'll get a notification on your YouTube, and that way you can see it quicker, and we can grow the family really, really big. But thank you guys. I appreciate every one of you that's become a part of the family, and I just am excited to just see it grow and grow and grow. So hope everyone's having a really happy holiday. I know I am. Christmas is only like 4 days away, or 3, so it's gonna be a good time, guys. Got more videos coming.